Come to order.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so today is April 28th. This is the BBC meeting. All members are in attendance. We'll go through the agenda. Meeting minutes from last meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review them? Anybody want to give a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous vote. Correspondence, I checked mailbox today, I did not have any correspondence. I did get an email from Steve Kirby, an invoice, which I'll just discuss after the meeting. I think it's fine, I just want to make sure it's not held up. I believe I forwarded it to Mike to forward this to select board to approve. Just want to make sure. So we'll regroup after the meeting, nothing big. You want to give an update, Steve?
Sure. I'll start off with the senior center and the COA list that we've been reviewing over the last few months. I did send an update out today to Bob Briscoe and the PBC and Mike Units. Seaver did do a walkthrough with Jim Slattery, Dan Alemu, and Bob Briscoe on the 24th. Went through the list that had been sent to me on Easter Sunday by Bob Briscoe. I initially gave a response, but I updated that response today, and I'll go through each item. So the roof shingle buckling issue, that is still present. Ed's been in touch with GAF. Our representative, Greenwood, who is the roofer, is supposed to be sending us a letter, but we're still trying to figure out what is creating, I guess what we call the wrinkles, or what was it? Mole tracks or telegraphing. I went by this afternoon just before this meeting. The front section looks okay, but the roof over the food pantry and the center section, but facing south, had definite buckling wrinkles, whatever you want to call them, showing. So we're investigating that further. If push comes to shove, we're talking about potentially getting a third-party consultant to come in and determine what the issue is. If it's a contractor issue, then they'll end up paying for that consultant's visit and report. Second item was the eye wash stations in the kitchen. Those were looked at. The plumber is supposed to come this week to address those. It was a slow draining issue. Third item was the bad odor in the kitchen. There was some electrical work that was scheduled for this morning at 6 o'clock. Dan went into the kitchen immediately with Jim to check. There were no odors in the kitchen except the smell of coffee. That was what was reported. So I'm closing that out.
Okay.
The gas fireplace, we basically sent a response on that previously, that the manufacturer said yes, the wall and the fireplace does get hot. They recommended putting a sign up, which I forwarded an example that they have in their shop, just to make sure that people aren't touching that fireplace. They also talked about the potential of there is an app along with the remote that can be used to essentially use it as a timer, or we just shut it off and they don't use it. At this point, it's been installed the way it was supposed to, and I've given a number of different reasons to keep it safe. So I close that out.
So I think the intent is it's not meant to stay on for a long period of time, right? By leaving it on too long, it's hot, nobody turns it
No,
on.
it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
Basically, they said it's going to rise 140 degrees over room temperature. So, I'm sorry, 112 degrees over room temperature. Room temperature is 70. It's 182 degrees, so it's gonna get hot, it's a fireplace. And, you know, it's vented as it should be. And the non-combustible, the construction of the shaft is per
Rated.
recommendation.
Quick question, on mine, I turn off the pilot in the summer, because the pilot, even though it's a little tiny, they're very efficient, and it adds to the heat when you're trying to air condition the room. So I turn the pilot off every summer, so I don't know if that was part of the commissioning, or if they know how to do that. Something you wanna just check, it's very easy to do, anyone who has a gas fireplace, recommend it, because otherwise, you'd be surprised how a little tiny flame in the middle of the summer can heat up a room, yeah.
Well, there was a training on it, and there is an access panel where the gas valve is in that enclosure wall, so.
Did you send a copy of that map, the sign guide?
Yeah, it was in the email,
And then there's the owner's manual link too.
correct.
Does that mention the app in that link, in the owner's manual?
Well, the app is the e-fire app.
Okay.
That was, and then they
see.
forwarded the instructions.
I see it.
Yep. I mean, and, you know, I'm sure that if there were some difficulties, you could just call Advantage Fireplace, who's the supplier, and I'm sure they'll walk someone through it.
So this item is closed then, right?
At this point, I'm closing it.
They just need to put their own beware hot surface sign, or whatever you wanna call it, yeah.
Yeah, if that's what they want to do, or tell people don't
Okay.
touch it.
The highway department may be able to help us with a sign, they have a sign section down there that they use for street signs and stuff. So they probably could make us up something if they want
Or
to,
you could buy the one that this
they show one. Yeah.
company has in their, they have it in their own showroom.
If I stick it on the wall.
That was the picture.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Number 5?
Number 5, that door was reviewed with Bob and Seaver and Jim and Dan. It basically, it needs to be open 90 degrees for it to fully close and latch. And according to what the report, he acknowledged that, so I closed that item up. Number 6.
So is that because of the weight of the door, it needs enough swing to shut?
Number 6, the cabinet door that had the scratch in it, they took the door with them, they dropped it off at a cabinet shop and they're having it refinished, and that'll be reinstalled. Number 7, the water hammer issue for the ice machine. We had noted before that the mechanical engineer said it is not required by code. You can put it in if you want to, but it is not required by code. And the valve is up above the ceiling. So we've closed that item out. So you can certainly put something in if you want to, but we're not going to do that through Seaver. Number 8, the water faucets on the outside. They did go around and test all of the water faucets. They've got 3 that do need to be addressed by the plumber. The rest were okay. The plumber's supposed to be back this week. I haven't got confirmation on that, but that's the report from Seaver.
Is that something that can be done from the outside? We don't know yet.
I wasn't there when they,
I don't know what they're doing.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if they had to tear walls apart or something to access the plumbing, or is it just something from the outside?
I think, well, one may be a gasket type of issue, but I don't know about the other 2.
Okay.
And I just want it fixed. Number 9, the screens, they went around, Seaver did, same day last week. They took 8 screens with them, and they dropped those off at a glass company. Hold on a second.
That's right.
No, I don't. Number 9 is the workability of the windows. Seaver has gone around and looked at all the windows. They did recommend that the tracks need to be cleaned regularly, and that the tracks should be wiped with silicone. That should ease the opening of the windows, because they did say these are commercial windows versus residential windows. So
Is that in the maintenance operation manual, the owner manual?
I didn't check to see if it was. Undoubtedly, it would be, but I don't know if, it's probably not on a schedule to be done yet.
Yeah.
Getting to the screens, they did take 8 damaged screens to be repaired at a local glass company. Didn't say where they brought them, but, so that's underway.
Excuse me, will the screens have pins in them?
The screens are not, the windows are not designed for pins. They
How do they
fit to
stay
the
in?
window.
How do they stay in?
Spring.
Oh,
The little spring clips.
Yeah.
okay. I have spring clips on mine, but I also have pins, but I guess they should work fine.
Yeah, my windows at my house did just springs.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not Quaker, but they're a different brand, but they're springs. The asphalt at the front door, that's at the front door and the side door. They're reviewing that, and they were going to issue a separate reply. We'll give them just so much time, and then I don't want to start bringing in other subcontractors because it gets messy, but if they don't address it, then we'll have to cut some of that out and drop that down flush again.
Would you replace with concrete? That makes more sense than asphalt.
Well, it's
No?
Not where it is.
yeah, it's at the flush curb locations at both those doors, where it raised up with the heat, but it didn't go fully back down.
Okay.
So, and it's within the driveway itself, so.
Oh, it's in the driveway?
Yes.
I thought it was the sidewalk at the top. Okay.
No, this is the asphalt drive.
Oh, then it's easy, they can bring a truck up to it then, okay.
Yep. Number 12, which was a new one, there was a concern about a ceiling tile in the multi-purpose room, that it might fall, but that was inspected, that will not fall, the tile is secure, so we closed that. And the last item on the list was the lawn. The lawn was aerated and reseeded on the 3rd of April, and we're monitoring it. We did ask them, what was going to be their procedure to remove the weeds and the crabgrass, and they said that they would get back to us in a separate response. Again, we haven't released any funds on anything, so we're holding the money. If we don't get the grass, we'll implement like what we sort of told them we were going to do, is we'll get someone else to do it and just charge them the whole amount.
There you go.
So they don't want that, that's why they had someone come in and do the work, even though they didn't tell us they were doing it.
Or what they were gonna do.
But they did submit the seed that they said they used. So that's the update on the last list that the COA forwarded this last weekend.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir?
I'd like to go back to the GAF refers to those defects in the asphalt shingles as possibly, when they're laid down, there is moisture in the substrand, or there's poor circulation in the attic. They suggested that the way to rectify it is to remove the shingles, straighten out the underlayment, and relay new shingles, not using the old ones. On the odor in the kitchen, I'd like to have somebody explain to me what is growing underneath that cabinet. Half that floor drain protrudes underneath the cavity of the cabinet. That cabinet should be raised up off the floor, as in any commercial kitchen. I've had people look at that kitchen and they refer to it the same way I do. It's Mary Jane's kitchen. It's a homeowner's kitchen. All the appliances in that kitchen should be up off the floor, including the range. The range looks like a commercial kitchen range. It is not. It's Mary Jane's homeowner's kitchen range. I'd like to know what you propose to do about the mold or bacteria that could be growing underneath that cabinet, and how do you intend to rectify that? And also, by code, that kitchen sink is a food preparation sink. And any food preparation sink by code, and I have them here, requires a trap underneath, and it requires it to go to the interceptor. Obviously, and if you look, take that panel down, obviously you'll see that, whoops, we made a mistake. We already drilled the hole for the pipe to go back to where it should go, but the pipe wasn't there to connect to, so they dropped it into the floor drain. And every time that splashes in there, moisture is coming up underneath the cabinet. Now, I'm just a dumbass electrician, I'm not a plumber, but I could read and I could comprehend what I'm reading. And that is not permitted. The gas fireplace, I know from experience, that can possibly cause spontaneous combustion. You don't mistakenly, there's no idea of leaving a gas fireplace on. We have 2 in our house. You don't leave them on by mistake. The thermostat is actually controlled, and they'll keep the temperature down. That temperature builds up in that cavity. Someday, enough oxygen will break in there, and you'll have a fire. But, okay. The ice machine, again, you want to write that off. You can't by code, because it requires that a water hammer arrestor be put on that as close to the appliance as possible, because it has a solenoid valve in it, just like your wash machine. If you have banging pipes, you put a water hammer arrestor on it. Like Abe Lincoln said, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time. The outside faucets, I don't have my notes. When I took a tour around with Bob Briscoe, we got showered a couple times. Didn't hurt, there was no soap in the water. But they are defects. There's one that is protruding out that is not properly adhered to the building. And I don't suggest that it just be filled in with caulking. It needs to be moved back and adhered to the siding, so it's flush. The asphalt raised up this winter. Oh my gosh, I learned in 3rd grade that water expands in the wintertime. The wrong substrand is underneath that concrete, underneath the asphalt. You're gonna have the same problem year after year. It's called frost heaves. I know for a fact that loom can expand as much as 4 inches in the wintertime, because I own a mobile home park, and they have skirting, and they have slides for it. So there's no other alternative but to take out that asphalt, take out the substrate, put in some good gravel, the proper gravel that should have been there and should have been inspected before it was paved. The ceiling tile, that's swell. Why is there only one tile hanging down lower than all the rest? Why isn't it put up with the rest so it's smooth like the rest of them? And are we going to accept the crabgrass that's in the lawn that's there now? Because that'll keep on spreading. So I think you did a good job in covering it and trying to walk away, but I don't think you should. And I'm not here just to come and argue. I'm here to protect the taxpayers of this town and speak out for them. And that's what I'm here for. And I hope you people on this board will hold the feet to the fire that need to be held to the fire and get these jobs done properly and not go down to Orlando to see Mickey Mouse and get things done. And let's get it done and done right for the taxpayers of Norton. Thank you.
So do we have any response to that?
I have a few, if I
Okay.
could.
You're on.
We're here on behalf of the town's interest as well, just to set the record straight. And as Steve mentioned at the end of this, we haven't released any funds that we're still sitting on for these issues, as well as a few others. Relative to the issues that you raised about code compliance, everything that we've gone through with both our architectural team and the engineering team. Everything is code compliant. You can disagree with it, but that's the fact. There is nothing that is outstanding on this list that's a code issue, number one. Number two, as far as the kitchen is concerned, that is a full commercial range. It's up on legs. There's a privacy panel in the front of it that pops off, so you can clean underneath it.
Shouldn't be there. You don't see that in the.
It's specified that way. You can take it off if you'd like, but it's there,
Okay.
and it's cleanable. As far as the sink is concerned, again, that's a code issue. What's there now is an indirect waste on that sink, and it's plumbed the way the code tells us it needs to be. It's a floor sink. It's not a floor drain.
Correct.
May I, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Let's go back to your last item, the floor drain. What are you doing with half of it underneath the cabinet?
You can ask the contractor that question. I'm not gonna answer that question on camera. That's not where we're supposed to be.
But yet you're telling
We
us
did
to
not
accept that.
accept it. I'm back on the statement I made earlier.
Excuse me, you are or you are not accepting it?
It's on our list for other reasons. We'll just leave it at that.
It's an incomplete item.
I thought I heard you, you're Steve? I thought I heard you say, Steve, you closed it out.
The odor. part.
We closed it out because it's not our court.
The issue was that there's
The
an
odor.
odor in the kitchen, and we keep hearing it over and over again, even though we said there's no odor. So we checked it, because there was a comment made, you don't smell it until Monday morning after the entire senior center's been closed up. So this morning, we were there at 6 o'clock in the morning, because the electrician was gonna do some work, and the first thing I did is go into the kitchen to check to see if there was an odor, and there was none.
And it also has a trap primer on it, doesn't it?
So, yeah. Now, you made mention, I gotta address this. You just made the statement that there's mold in the senior center kitchen.
There's possible, I said.
Yeah,
I'm not, I haven't picked up the cabinet yet. But can you tell me there's not? I can't tell you there is. But you know, science
I
says.
can tell you there wasn't when we
science says-
left.
yeah, we don't clean the kitchen. So
Pardon?
I don't even, to be honest, I don't know if anybody's even using the kitchen. We just don't go there every day. So I can't, I'd have to turn to the COA to say whether they're using the kitchen or not.
As I stated before, I'm a dumbass electrician, I'm not a plumber. But I know damn well you don't put a drain, half the drain underneath a cabinet, to vent underneath the cabinet. Now, common sense tells me that. I hope it tells you that too. But you said you want to close out the situation of the kitchen sink. And by code, that is
Which was
not
the
code
odor-
because it's...
The item on the list was there's an odor in the kitchen. And we checked all of the drains. And the one in particular
All right.
was the one under the,
Then may I bring
under
to
the
your
sink.
attention
Correct.
that there is a half a floor drain underneath the cavity of a cabinet.
George, maybe you'll hear me because I talk loud.
Oh,
They have told you that it's on a punch list, that they're not happy of the placement of the drain. They wrote off the odor, okay, because nobody's picking it up. They are still, it's still in the, I don't know the right place, the contractor's court as far as the placement of the drain. And that's what we're saying. We have not written off the placement of the drain.
And the same goes for the lawn. If I could jump to that as well.
yeah.
It's still being addressed.
okay, then could we go to the
Is
water
it
hammer?
satisfactory? Obviously not, but
And the water hammer
process.
thing, I was gonna keep my mouth shut, but I'm so sick and tired of hearing
Good, you're
this.
so sick and tired of it, why don't you learn something? Here, read it. Read it, that's the code. If you can read and comprehend.
I don't
you'll
have
understand.
time, and I'm not wasting my time, because you wasted our time 12 times on this and been told we're not gonna
Just
do
because you
it.
got a
Have you got anything else on
If you
your
wanna
list?
drive your ambulance, read the code.
You said you weren't a plumber, so why are you handing us a plumbing code?
Because I copied it out.
You
for
said, did you not say you're not a plumber?
Doesn't
Did
mean
you
I
not
can't-
say you're not a plumber?
Doesn't mean I can't read and comprehend what I read.
Well,
Just
just, and
because
just
you
to
can't.
to touch on that, we had the engineers review this. The engineers said a water hammer is not code. You can put one on if you want to, but it is not code. So
Correct.
there's a difference of opinion, professional engineer versus
Right there, Steve,
COA.
right there. He won't read it, maybe you would.
You didn't make copies for everybody?
You can make a copy.
Then getting to the one that Ed was, you made statements about getting rid of the weeds and the crabgrass. I went over that in my review. We've brought it to their attention that, okay, you've seeded and you've aerated, but how are you going to get rid of the weeds and the crabgrass? And they said that they would get back to us on that. That was my report.
Okay, all I see is the lawn is aerated and reseeded.
I think you were also told that we're working on
The
that.
latest.
It's in progress.
Okay, read it.
It's not closed.
Okay, all right.
I think it might have been a separate email.
SEBA to send separate response regarding weed and crabgrass
Okay, I see it
removal.
now, it's in lighter print, I can see
Yeah,
it.
well, I
Sorry,
made
Steve.
everything different colors as we responded. So we're not walking away, we're not the contractor. I'm the OPM that represents the town. Ed is the designer that represents the town.
Steve,
It's not, that project is not over yet.
well, I was told it was. Two meetings ago, 3 meetings ago, when the former chair stepped down because he brought the project in under budget and on time. And I was also told, as far as the shut off for the filter, that any professional plumber will come with a stepladder. Well, who's gonna hire a professional plumber to change a filter? And somewhere in here, I can't pick it out right now, but it says that by code, the appliance should be installed as the representative directs if it's less than what's required by code. They showed that there are shut-offs ahead of the valve, and also these filters have to be purged for 3 gallons of water before they go into the ice maker. And the only way to do that, there's a floor drain right there, but I guess that'll have to be installed after everybody walks away. But there should be a valve going directly to the floor drain to flush that for 3 gallons.
I think there's a difference between convenience and code.
Correct.
But the water hammer is not convenience.
It's not
It's for
required for
safety.
code based on our plumbing engineer's review.
I think what he's referring to is it says that if there's a quick acting valve or a solenoid valve. Do we have either one of those?
Yes, it's a solenoid valve that's
Hang his head
required.
on. But I don't, this is one page.
Again, I'll say it again for the 4th
I
time, the
understand.
plumbing engineer reviewed it, he determined it wasn't required. I don't know what else to say. He looked at it twice.
I mean, this is one page of the code, and you can't always make a decision off one page anyway.
Did you look at the Massachusetts code? Could you read the article number for that code? It's right there.
The section,
Yeah, the section and first.
section 10.14,
Yeah.
and then there's a factor table, and then underneath the factor table is some, I don't know what the first section is. Hold on. Because this, I don't have section A, this is section B. It says about prevent water hammer. All building supplies in which quick-acting valves or solenoid valves are installed shall be provided with devices to absorb high pressure resulting from a quick closing of these valves. And then it has a couple other items here, so. I'm not a plumbing engineer. so
Mr. Chair, it doesn't take it, watch that solenoid valve when the water shuts off. The whole tubing goes like that. Let that happen on a Friday night when it comes loose from the connection. Who's gonna pay for that?
Well, if it breaks between now and the end, it's gonna be a warranty item, correct?
But that code does call for a water hammer. arrestor?
I guess.
Who's gonna install it? Should the town install it and back charge the contractor?
Oh, I mean,
I don't know. Can somebody answer that one?
I guess have your engineer look at it one more time and give him this code section, just in case he
Well-
overlooked it, and that's all we can do.
I asked him twice, I'm not gonna ask him a third time.
Go ahead, Jim.
I mean, we've had this issue since day one, when we let them in the building. We've addressed it at least 5 times.
And it hasn't been resolved.
It's been resolved, but you don't like the answer, and you're not a plumber.
You're not either.
End of discussion,
You're not
that's
either.
all I want to say, thank you.
You're an ambulance driver for 42 years.
I don't claim to be anything.
Yeah,
I trust the people we hire.
yeah.
You don't.
Well, read the paper.
You don't trust anybody.
You don't trust me
George.
to read it.
I'm done.
I wish you
Can I
were.
ask, so what does a water hammer arrestor look like? Is it basically just a loop with a post on it that keeps the pipe from vibrating, or
It's a little tube that has a bladder in it that lets the air go in and out.
Yeah.
is it something that has to be
Not that
built
big of a-
inside the tube, or is it an
No, it's an
external piece?
attachment.
Yeah.
It
Oh.
interrupts the line.
Okay.
Could it be added? Sure, it could be added.
Probably in less time than we've been discussing it over the last 3
It's
months.
a cost,
Yeah.
that's the point,
Yeah.
right? And then who are you gonna get to do it at this point? You
Is
need
it
to get-
accessible?
You would need to issue a change order to the contractor, and he would forward it to the plumber,
Mhm.
so that you wouldn't void any warranty on that
Correct.
system the way it sits today. The same goes with the extra convenience valves or whatever other implements you wanna add. Could it be done? Yes.
Is this, could I go to the hardware store, buy the piece and screw it into the wall?
For
myself?
about
No.
$15.
No,
it's
plumber
not.
has to install
It's
it.
tied into the
$15.
plumbing itself.
Kevin.
$15?
And you have no liability.
Yeah, I understand.
I guess maybe the question is it worth asking, what is this worth to fix, to make it go away? It sounds like, reading this list, obviously I think the weeding will get resolved, the cabinet's getting resolved, the window screens are getting resolved, a lot of these things are going. This seems to be the biggest issue here, is this ice machine shut off. If we're gonna have them in there for a hammer rest, does it make sense to make these improvements? I mean, what do we have left in our,
It's up to the town.
in our budget? I just don't know what the order of magnitude is.
Well,
It sounds like a plumber
there's
per
a
day.
couple things. It's spending money to do something that is not code required, but it can be an owner upgrade.
Correct.
We're also trying to get Seaver and their subcontractors
Oh,
out.
Done.
yeah, so it sounds like we're stuck in the middle, because if we bring in a third-party plumber, then we're gonna have to listen to them talk about voiding their warranty, right?
We can
wait till after the warranty's up.
You can wait until October when the warranty's
Correct.
up and
We can
do whatever
certainly
you
ask for a
want.
price if you want to, but that, we haven't been given that direction.
Okay, what do you guys think?
So after the 1-year warranty period, we can just hire our own third
Correct.
party and pay for it somehow. Probably would be the right thing to do.
I think the approach here is that it's being looked at as it's something that's owned and should be installed for nothing, and it's not.
Yes.
I would agree with that. I think it's not, if it's code compliant, it's code compliant. We own it, we own it. If we don't own it, and it's a remedy to a situation that's gonna make this go away, it's worth considering. It's an oversight, things happen.
And the other thing too is, let's say it was required by code, but it wasn't shown on the drawings. This is chapter 149, file subbid.
Correct.
Still
They
can do it.
install what's
Correct.
shown on the drawings. They
Correct.
just don't own code
No, I understand.
because,
Doesn't work.
Go ahead, Jim.
you know, for putting things in, that would be a design build, and that isn't what we have here.
I just feel it's not gonna be a $15 valve, because he's not gonna be happy with that. He's not gonna be happy until you put a shut off.
Hey, wait a minute. That's,
Oh, hold on. Let him finish. Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
He wants a shut, the senior center representative wants a shut off. He wants the water hammer. He wants the drain moved. The more we give him, the more it costs us. And it all meets code. It meets what you diagrammed. We have been told it meets code. I just feel we're going down the wrong road here. If we stop acquiescing to every pet peeve that people have, we're gonna have a problem. It's like the fireplace. the fireplace was left on for 24 hours, the building did not burn down.
Yeah. May I say one thing? There's a personality clash between you, if you haven't recognized that yet. We used to be friends, but he used to be my fat friend, Jim. Then he became my dumb fat friend.
Okay.
But
No one
that's
can
where the
comment. Come on.
that's where the
not-
controversy's
you
with
Can't do
it.
that on a meeting like this.
So,
Did somebody mention, as far as the fireplace, that there's an app that you can program?
Yes.
The timing? Is it tied into a thermostat as well? Yeah, right now?
they may have a timer, but like an on and off, run it for an hour. I mean, how often is this thing gonna be around?
As far as
How
I
long is
know,
it gonna
there's
be
no,
there
there's no
for?
thermostat. There's
Is it more for
nothing else.
ambiance than it is for heat?
Yes.
Yeah, so
That's the
it's,
intent.
I think it's an operational thing. Whoever turns it on has to turn it off.
Right.
And whoever that person is, Beth needs to assign, whether it's her or someone else. They shouldn't be left on. And if that
In
means an app,
retrospect, we
and
should've
and there's a
went with
timer, that when you turn it on with the
Oh,
app and you set it for
yeah.
60 minutes and
Yeah.
turns off, then
Save
that's
some
fine.
money.
I think the fireplace goes away. Reading through this whole thing, I think the only thing that is a potential change is this plumbing arrestor we keep talking about. And possibly the hose bibs.
Well, no, they're
Hose
being
bibs,
addressed.
But those
they're
are being
gonna
addressed
fix
on your
those.
punch list.
That's right.
That's part of the
Same
plumber's
thing with the
work.
floor drain, right? Floor sink, I should say, right? Technically, that's.
Not
on
the
your
odor
punch-
part.
No, leave the odor part alone. I'm just saying, that could have been a dead mouse for all we know. It's the sink itself, the floor sink itself is in the wrong spot. You said that yourself, correct? And it should be moved. Correct, right?
Easier said than done.
Well, yes and no. So, that's on your punch list. So the only thing that isn't on your punch list that he's majorly concerned about is this arrestor issue, correct? I think we just get a cost to, see what it's cost to fix it, at least you know what we're made to. If we tell them not to do it and we do it ourselves in October, fine. That's all we can do. We're just beating a dead horse here.
I think you'd wait till October, but that's my 2 cents.
That, I
for what
agree,
it's worth.
but it'd be nice to know what it's worth when we get to October.
Because it would cost you a fraction,
Correct,
and it'll be done quickly.
correct. It'd be nice to know roughly what these things are gonna
I
cost.
suggest the same thing and hope the hell nothing happens in between.
Again, if it's to code, there's nothing we can do about it. Can't
But
force
it's
it
still
on
under
somebody.
warranty if something does happen.
But that's beside.
If something was to happen, doesn't mean
If
you
it bursts-
automatically get one.
If it bursts beginning of October, it'll
They
be
would-
If
replaced
something
anyway.
happens that is not due to an outside force, if the fitting lets go
Mhm.
from normal use, yes.
If somebody doesn't put the filter back on properly, then no.
Yeah, correct.
Steve, that's what the hammer is addressing, that it takes the pressure off that line, off the fittings. That's why the code does call for it.
And I'll make the statement, I'm not a plumbing engineer either, so I can only go by
But
what the engineers say.
Read the code, if you can comprehend what you read,
I'll
you
read it.
understand where I'm coming from.
I'll read it.
Thank you.
I've got the reference.
That's all I ask.
And then we could address it that way, so.
So this punch list was a mile long at one point, now we're
Correct.
down to like
10 items or something?
All the other items are being addressed, with the roof potentially, if you hire a third-party consultant if it's needed, and
To be honest, the original punch, we've got two things here. We've got a punch list that was developed by Ed and our people. That was the punch list. A lot of this is, some of it's warranty, some of it's, as we know, things that people are
Overlap.
thinking of. There's a few things that are on the punch list. The punch list was a mile long. They finished that actual punch list down to 4 or 5 items. Lawn being one, screens were another. This list, it was longer. We've taken, but it longer, and then more things get added to it and added to it. Which, and I've said this a million times too, warranty items should be going through the town to handle, because there's a separation between a warranty item and your design team and punch list. Because we're still here, we're still involved with it because it's part of our customer service. But at a certain point in time, when that's done, we're going to be gone. Or certainly my man here in the field will be gone, so we can't go over there to check things on a whim. And at that point, if it's a warranty issue, the way a warranty works is the town calls the subcontractor who, if it's a plumber, they call the plumber and say, hey, we got a leak in a pipe, directly. I know there's a little issue with that now, but that's nothing to do with us.
Bob?
I'm gonna suggest to the select board on Thursday night that they address this list under warranties. It's not your job. This stuff, most of it is not yours. It's our job at this point. We have a person who's supposed to be like a property manager taking care of the buildings. And what I'm gonna suggest to the select board is that they, at every meeting, we get an update. And whoever's supposed to be, whether it be the town manager or Christian or whoever it is, that they stay on top of this. And some of this you guys are gonna help us with, I get that. And some of it we can deal with ourselves. So, rather than come here I haven't been to many meetings, but every time we've had the same conversation, I'm gonna push this off now to the select board, where I'm gonna be sitting, and ask them to start taking some responsibility for going after the people who are supposed to do the warranties. And let's address it from that direction, and maybe most of this will go away. Some of you guys are gonna have to help us with.
Most of this is very close to being done. But there's gonna be some other potential, I mean, you know, stuff
Things come
happens.
up.
New warranty items, that would be great. You put it in that direction.
May I make a
And
suggestion?
we'll finish this up.
Can we, and Steve as well, can you maybe put something on this in parentheses that's also on your punch list? So, kind of focus on the things that are not on your punch list? Like
In my first response, I put what was a warranty issue and what was a punch list issue. Or at least I certainly tried to identify.
Yeah, okay.
Because
In the first,
in the
Okay.
dark bold.
I just wanna make sure that Bob, as a committee focusing on warranty issues, not,
I'm saying it,
okay, I see it now. I didn't see it before.
I'm saying it.
Yeah, there's a number of different iterations. I just thought it best to try and keep with this list.
Like number 11, it doesn't say per se, I'm assuming that's a punch list item.
Well,
10, I
No,
think,
that's
is a
a
punch list.
warranty.
that's a warranty because,
Warranty item?
that wasn't present.
It just
when we
doesn't
did the
say it like
budget.
some of the other
Relatively
ones do.
yeah, I know.
Maybe just clean it up a little,
I
maybe
might
that
have
might
not
help.
been consistent all the way through.
That's what I guess that's what I'm asking.
Well, I think it was only
Yeah, see, like
recently added.
the screens, I've got that Vertex response, punch list item, number 9.
Is there a way to put like, maybe next to them, put a W, and next to them, put a
I
P,
could-
something
I could
simple? I'm
mark
trying to
this
make
out,
it easier
yeah.
for Bob, that's, you know, I don't want fighting the, what's that expression? Fighting the battle from two directions, yeah, whatever it is. Go ahead,
I hear
Jim.
you, yeah.
Who was for each first?
No,
I'm
I'm
good.
just commenting what I was commenting on.
I think this being like the fourth ideation of this, that in one of the ideations, Steve already did that, but asking him to clean it up and reclassify everything and combine everything, I think is a good idea. Going back to Bob's suggestion of going to the select board, I was going to suggest that I think it's time that the town manager and Beth get together and figure out who they're gonna hire to do the plumbing work, who they're gonna hire to do, when we're out of here, they won't be able to call Dan to come up and fix something. They're gonna have, and I think they are relying on Vertex to fix problems that sometimes are not Vertex's problem, but out of courtesy, they're fixing it. Beth or the town manager or whoever is in charge of the maintenance of the buildings should have a list that if Beth has a plumbing problem, she can go to a Rolodex or whatever she's doing, her computer, and go plumbing, and it says A1 plumbing. If she has a
Electrical issue.
HVAC issue, she has A1 AC.
Well, that list exists
It's in the manual.
as a warranty. So, you know, the plumber that worked on the senior center, all that contact information is on a list specifically for the warranty. Now, whether you know, 3 years from now, whether you continue with that guy or go somewhere local, that's a different story. But right now, that list with the telephone, email, point of contact, that exists.
So technically, things like some of this stuff should not be coming up to us. They should be calling the warranty person.
Correct. I think we said that a couple
Yeah.
meetings
The only
ago.
reason why they're still around is because of the phase 2 here.
And I think,
Well, and that has nothing to do with that.
I know, but that's why they're just helping us out.
Yeah.
like Steve said.
Well, we're trying to, but
Professional courtesy.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And it just doesn't happen here. I mean, if we're on a job that has a couple phases, and we're here, that's what we do, we know it, we can turn it around quicker, because we know who the people are. But I keep saying, at some point, we're not gonna be here anymore.
Yeah, I think the issue is we need, to Bob's point, a facilities person. I know we threw the name around Chris before, and then I thought, it sounded like Chris didn't want the gig. So I don't know who the person is. If it should be a list of the person in the building. It's your building, you're responsible for it.
Well, I think,
It should start there. If they get nowhere, then it should go one step up. And the next question is, who is it? Is the town manager?
my suggestion is gonna be that this be on the agenda between now and next October.
Correct.
And every time we have a meeting, we're gonna ask the town manager or the temporary town manager for an update on how things are progressing. And I think if we're talking about it every 2 weeks, at some point, people are gonna get sick and tired of hearing about it.
Correct.
And do something about it. But I think with the transition between the new town manager and the select board and everything else that's going on all at once here, if we stay focused on it, the buck stops at the top and the select board at the top. If it's not getting done, then we need to take some responsibility to make sure it gets done also. That's all.
I just want to make sure we're not stepping on punch list work versus warranty work versus a wish list. No, it's functioning, maybe not the way people think it should be, but it's not broken. It's not holding up operation, it's just not the way they'd like it. So if there's a way to make it better and safer, we can entertain it, but I think we have to wait till the warranty's up. It's the best decision.
Which is in October, 6 months away.
Yeah. Because then we can hire any plumber, it's less than, what, 10,000 or something, we don't even have to go
Yeah.
to 3 bidders, I can just be normal maintenance.
Yeah.
Whatever-
I'm sure
whatever
that, yeah,
chapter
the town
30
might
is.
have someone already that can use for the other building.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is that it for senior center?
No.
Okay, you have more?
Yep, I just giving an update. So, another hot topic was the audiovisual. Pro AV has been out, they've put displays up. There was one that was damaged that they had to reorder. However, as they've gone and to energize the AV equipment, there has been a gap on what the expectations were for the audiovisual system and what was contracted for. So, not to belabor the point, but we've had a number of meetings with Pro AV, with Record, with others. We're going to have another one this Wednesday to hopefully finalize what needs to be done. One of the issues is the COA wants to be able to look at different channels in every single room.
cable TV.
It's not set up that way. So, but it can be. It's probably, dealing with Comcast and set tops in each room. We have had some really decent conversations with Pro AV trying to figure this out. But there's also a little bit of a difference between a residential set and a commercial set and what those can do. So, initial miscommunication versus expectations, it's getting closer, but we're having that meeting with Ed, myself, town representatives, Pro AV, Ascentec, which is the designer of the select board room and has the knowledge. And we're also going to sort of jump into the town hall. We're gonna talk about the town hall because they're starting to get equipment delivered for the town hall conference rooms, and we don't want to have the same issue. However, I'm fairly confident that the town hall is going to be set up for Zoom and presentations only, not that someone can come in here and start watching Netflix,
Right.
which will eliminate a lot of the issue that's over. And there's definitely different uses for the two buildings, which I get. But we're going to try and iron all that out so that they can come in, put it in, set it up, and everything's working properly.
So they act more like a monitor than a television.
Correct.
It's a
Simple
big,
terms.
big display.
Right, there's a couple of places in town hall that do have the capability wired, because we ran coax in this building, we did not in the other. We just ran Cat 6. There's still a way to get the signal from point A to point B just operates differently.
Yeah, okay.
So it's been a little bit more of a challenge than we expected once they got here, but we're working through that. So I'm just wondering, I know it's been, like I said, another hot topic, and I want to touch on it while we're in this meeting.
Okay. Anything else?
That should be it for senior center.
Okay, on to town hall?
Town hall. For new town hall, like I said, same issue with the audiovisual systems I just went over. The plaza concrete out front, we're still dealing with M. O'Connor on exactly what is going to be done to replace that. They have requested a third attempt to remedy what's there without ripping it all up. We acquiesced to say, yeah, we would entertain it, but we had a number of different conditions that we wanted. And it hasn't quite gelled yet on their side. And M. O'Connor's working, it's the subcontractor that's pushing back. M. O'Connor has been good on that, so I don't want to say that they've been a problem here. They've been trying to facilitate it. But we also told them, you better get going with it, because you got to do this in the spring, because if you fail again, we don't want to run out of time
For the winter.
for the winter. So we put some conditions on what we want to see, and the subcontractor did bring in a consultant, Simpson, Comforts and Hager. We did finally get a copy of his report, and I don't want to necessarily, I'm not disparaging it, but it was somewhat of a non-report. What I was looking for, or what I expected to see, was their recommendations for a remedy, and I did not see it. They reiterated what they saw. They talked about things that were deficient, which we already knew. But what we said was, well, if you're going to come in and do a remediation, we want to know what the remediation is, and we want Simpson, Gumpertz, and Hager to supervise it.
And accept it.
You know, that may kill it right there, but
Well, we also talked about longevity, or whatever the remedial measure is.
yeah, if they're intending on leaving, let's say, leaving the bottom of the sidewalk and putting a coating on it, we're not really looking to do
We're not
that.
interested in a 3 to 5 year fix.
Yeah,
No.
because it's gonna delaminate. So,
Okay.
so that's still ongoing.
Do you ever negotiate extended warranties when you discuss these type things?
We haven't on occasion, sure. That isn't something that we are factoring out of this, but we want to be comfortable with whatever the remedial work is to start off with, and we're not there. We don't even know what they're suggesting at this point.
Yeah, nothing's been formally proposed.
Yeah.
I think to Kevin's point, it's you can't sit
For
there
this-
for
for
9
this
months coming up with a remedy and then, oh, warranty's up, sorry. I think that's what Kevin's.
No, it's already a documented issue.
Yeah,
It's on the punch list.
that clock isn't ticking.
Well, I'm
Correct.
talking about
Has been accepted.
one of those negotiating items, where, okay, 10-year warranty, if you're saying these things are not issues, then we'll honor an extended warranty, so that if something does happen, we come back to you.
And the problem, well, not the problem, but the further discussion on that is, it's a subcontractor that did the work. But asking a subcontractor for a 10-year warranty, they may be out of business next
Yeah.
year.
You want a
So then you
bond
want it
warranty.
from M. O'Connor, who is established, and they already talked about having a bond,
Bond
a warranty bond on it. So they're also thinking in the right direction.
Yeah.
What about the roof at the senior center, is that under like a 20-year warranty?
It's 20 or 25,
Okay.
on the shingles, though. So if it's an installation thing, I think we got a 2-year roofing
2-year roofing.
for the install. Because GF won't warrant the installation because they didn't install it. They'll warrant the materials. If the shingles all of a sudden start
We know
delaminating.
how that goes.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You get it.
Warranties are always tricky.
Good. So that's pretty much the update on new town hall. Old town hall, The last couple weeks, the mason has been working on the,
Quick question, before we go over there, did we resolve that, was it the generator exhaust? Did we get that?
opted not to
Okay.
do the extension, changed the exercise time, did,
Perfect.
again, the morning test is, it was running, the windows were closed, didn't smell anything, so we're not spending that $3,500.
Perfect, I just had that on here from last time, that we
Yes.
were gonna recycle and change the time, all right, perfect.
So, the old town hall, bricks going up now, the electrician's been in there. They are still maintaining that they're going to be complete by the 1st of June, which should be good because
With everything, not only the wall, but also the
Phase
phase
two.
2 and 3 site work.
What about the interior? Is that fire department's, all the finishing of the
They're
interior?
gonna put that corridor back together again.
Yeah.
They'll put the ceiling, they'll put the carpet tile back, they'll paint the new walls, and then we'll pull out.
The remodeling
The separate?
is there,
yeah,
and the.
that'll be a
figure
finished space, but it's
Being banted about is about
minimal.
$300,000, but that's gonna be a separate project.
Correct. I didn't know if that went through the capital improvements committee yet, because I was looking on the website.
No.
They haven't had a meeting in months, so. Bob, you on that committee?
No, but the $300,000 is gonna come from ambulance receipts,
Okay,
so the money's gonna be available.
okay,
I believe we appropriated that money at the last town meeting.
okay, perfect.
And so they're gonna take that 300 grand and do what they can with it. And then if they need more, it's not gonna fall into the capital only because it did fall into the capital as a transfer,
Yeah.
but the money's coming from ambulance receipts.
I was just curious how it gets from capital improvements committee to us. Is there a threshold? Do you remember if there's a threshold where, if it's under a certain amount, we don't have to?
There is a threshold, I don't remember.
There was a threshold. I don't know,
There's some
60,000.
subjectivity with the town manager, we'll have to talk about what threshold is it. Become the responsibility of the building committee.
Yeah, I don't know, once it hits public bid, it's automatically yes anyway.
I think
Like
there is a
50
lot
grand or
of
something.
subjectivity there.
And I think the horses are, where we left the barn on that one, I think they're already in the process of getting ready to start making those improvements, even though I don't believe they came through this committee. It more or less did the capital.
Well, it's less than $1.5 million, so we don't need an OPM, so all right.
I'm fine with that. Well, okay, so that's pretty much it. They started putting windows in, and they're working to get that done by the end of May. The last thing is the electronic digital messaging signs. We have two separate contracts, purchase orders with Signorama, one for Town Hall, one for Senior Center, same sign. The infrastructure the wiring was pulled over at the Senior Center the other day. They're gonna finish pulling the wires for the Town Hall sign. The sign company said that they're looking at the week of the 12th of May to come out here to do Town Hall first, and then they'll go over to the Senior Center. And the programming for the signs is completely remote. There's no data wire that had to be pulled out there, so we have an extra conduit, but it's all can be done remotely. So ideally by the beginning of June, and then maybe mid-June, those two should be up and running. You can program however you want to.
What size did they pick?
6 by 4.
It's good.
Yep, and that's an 8-foot base that's out there, so it'll fit without
No
any issues.
overhang or anything.
Yeah, right. That's all I got.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yes, can I inquire as to how much fundage is left behind to take care of any of these discrepancies?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know off the top of my head either.
We can find out.
There should be funds left over, but we gotta finish this first, because everything that was pulled from the senior center and the town hall are going into that project there, and the two signs were not part of the original budget either.
And then this building is.
Those are over $30,000 apiece.
And there hasn't been any major change orders yet, other than what, the shoring, that was the one item?
We've had a few items come
But
up.
nothing significant, right?
No.
Mostly small and controlled.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like I said at the last meeting, our budget right now is good, but I don't like to speculate on numbers until we get closer to the end.
So to answer your question, I think we'll know better once this is kind of
Okay.
close to the end. Because if there is funds left over, then I think we can have a discussion. If the PMR he keeps talking about can be remedied, I don't know.
Yep.
I think we'll know better when we get closer to the end. Okay, but it's functioning. Go ahead, Jim.
Having worked the elections on Saturday, I wanted to take this opportunity publicly to thank both Dan from Vertex and Ted from Emin O'Connor. I think they did a great job of getting this parking area done. I was sitting over near where Kevin is. It looked like bumpum cars from the circus with the people pulling in, because they didn't have any lines to go by. But nothing got hit, there were no hits, no runs, the only major problem they had was one of the candidates' tents blew over. But as far as the construction site, I think everything was fully marked. They took care of the lip on the sidewalk. I think they went above and beyond what they had to do, because I think it had been an issue here for 4 or 5 months. The town clerk was really worried about adequate parking, and I think there was more than adequate. Kevin and Bob probably saw it from the outside, and I'm glad I wasn't there, but I think everything went well. I didn't hear any complaints from anybody, and everybody was happy, so I'd like to thank the two of them, M. O'Connor and Vertex and their employees for doing a great job. And I'm sure the tall light pole that you were talking about, I know the electrician was so worried about somebody hitting that, but the EMA director came around and put 4 or 5 more cones around it, so, I mean, nothing went wrong, it went perfect, so I just want to thank them.
They swept it there late Friday afternoon, I think, and there was debris everywhere from the construction site, you know. And I came back Friday, it was all gone, cleaned up, so yeah, they did a nice job. Not a
Yeah.
single complaint, by the way, from the town clerk, from anybody that came in.
That's fantastic.
Even though 2 people tried to drive down the sidewalk,
It'd be even better when it's done.
Yes.
and 2 people did park on the plaza, but,
We've seen that before, unfortunately.
well, it was raining out. You have to let mom out to get the shortest distance
And we can
between
make
2
that handicap
points.
park.
Oh, they pulled up on it?
We should move the.
No, they didn't
ballot
pull up, they were
box
on the
over.
edge. Well, with some of the extra money, we'll have to put ballards out in front of the walkway, I think. So people don't think it's a turnaround area.
Do we have anything else to discuss, or we'll schedule the next meeting?
26 is a holiday. So you can go the week before,
Yeah, it's the 26th is Memorial Day, right?
to the 19th. Or the week after is June 2nd.
Can't do June 2nd, that's my anniversary.
June stuff that looks good to me. Fits in between Canada and Alaska.
They gonna let you back in?
I don't know. My beard doesn't match my picture, so we could have a problem.
19th or June 2nd.
I prefer the 19th,
I'm fine with that.
just to get it out of the way.
19th,
Mm-hmm.
6 PM.
And then in June,
Wait a sec. May 19th?
Yeah, correct.
Is that the town meeting?
Is that town meeting?
Yeah.
Scratch that.
okay, can't do that. Can we change days, or?
We can.
Does it work for you guys if we have a different day?
Depends on the day.
Well, what works for you?
Wednesday?
Wednesday?
What about May 26th, or is that Memorial Day?
That's Memorial Day. We could do the Tuesday after, we could do the Wednesday after. It's up to you. I mean, I'm flexible.
The 27th?
27th to the 28th.
27th, 28th?
Looks like I have nothing at this point on the 27th.
I have a meeting on the 27th, I don't have anything on the 28th.
It's a Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah.
I think I'm good for the 28th also.
What are you, 28th?
I have a meeting, hopefully.
Still around, 28th of May?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's make it the 28th.
28th is Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And you were moving to June?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I'm fast forwarding here, but the week of June 23rd, I'm gonna be in Iowa for my son's wrestling camp, so.
Let's
Iowa.
do
Iowa.
it July.
In the, yeah, well, we could, because the 30th is his birthday. So again, we just want to put that out, there'll be a vacation that week, that's all. I might be able to call in remotely,
Which day? June 3rd?
June 23rd.
Oh, June 23rd.
Yeah.
We can decide that next meeting.
Yeah, exactly, just want to put it out there in case anybody has any conflicts.
Mr. Chair, motion
Yes.
to adjourn?
Sure, I'll accept it. Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned.
Did we-